Today, I've come to interview the man with the best hair in bass music. Who wrote this? Nah, change it. I've spent f***ing ages on my hair today. Ages. At least give me that. This week, I'm at the King's Head Private Members Club to chat to Drop the Lime, who's also going to be introducing me to his alter ego, Curses. So I'm here with Drop the Lime. Thank you very much for passing through. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Nice to see you in London. Normally I bump into you on the other side of the pond.
This is the truth.
It is. I don't think I've ever hung out with you here.
We're in your own land, your own territory.
We are. I wish this was my house. I like all of the...
I thought this was your house.
We'll pretend it is. So, yeah. So I've known you probably since 2005.
Yeah.
But what were you doing before that? Before I met you, what were your initial... what was your upbringing musically?
I went to music school in high school, professional performing arts school in New York. I went to then another school called Trevor Day, where a lot of artists today, like Holy Ghost and Penguin Prison went as well. And then I went to Bard College, so I studied music.
All the time?
All the time. And it wasn't until college that I started to get a little weird. And my professors were like, you can't make drum and bass, you can't make techno. That's commercial music. Experiment, be crazy, you know? So I started learning about Stockhausen and all these
really weird
Terry Riley, electronic musician pioneers. And I started making experimental drum and bass, I guess. So very Aphex Twin influence.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
A little bit more sort of what people would refer to as IDM as opposed
IDM, exactly.
Cool.
IDM, breakcore, that kind of punk rock, electronic stuff.
So I mentioned that we met in 2005, and that gig was one of my first trips to New York actually, and you saved Skepta's life on that trip. Do you remember that?
I do remember. I was living in Tribeca at the time, and you guys came through. It's the first time I met you, I think.
I think that was the first time.
And you were in a car full of Skepta. Was Jammer there?
Jammer was
too?
there, yeah.
And Vivian, Star Eyes. And you guys were like, he needs an inhaler. And I'm like, no problem.
Biggest hypochondriac ever.
Fellow asthmatic, I got you. Hooked him up with an inhaler. And I also remember the second thing that you guys said was, where can we get trainers?
Yeah, that's what...
You were on a mission for trainers.
We were like fresh blood from the UK going to New York, and everyone tells you got to buy trainers when you go to New York.
Like going to what's that spot called?
Flight Club.
Flight Club.
Yeah. So back then we played for you, and that was before you guys started Trouble and Bass, but shortly after that, I think.
That was before Trouble and Bass. It's where that party was what brought me and Vivian together. So we both got hired by this guy, Kid 606, we got asked to do a DJ mix, and it was all very grime and early dubstep, whatever you wanted to call it at the time, mixed with Southern US hip hop, Crime Mob and Trick Daddy, that kind of sound. Drum and bass records on 33, vinyl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Back then
Back
it was.
then we were using vinyl. And we did this party together as the release party. And we said, we got to bring over, when you were Plastic Man, we got to bring over Jammer, and Skepta. And
that was the first time they'd ever been to New York,
That's
or
crazy.
to the States actually. And
it was a lot of fun. That venue's not even there anymore, Rothko.
Really?
Yeah, the floor collapsed, some crazy stuff.
Mad.
But I also think we teamed up with my first crew, Bangers and Mash.
Yeah,
which was a very UK influenced crew that I had with Team Shade Tech.
Yeah, I remember Matt Shade Tech. We did some recording with him on that trip actually.
Yeah.
I think it came out as well, Jammer's version.
Yeah.
So how did Trouble and Bass form out of that relationship?
So after that, we just realized, wow, we both love similar style of dance music. So let's start a new party. Start a new crew, because no one else is really combining UK dance music with US, and also mixing it with hip hop and whatever underground sounds that were going on.
So the night came first, then Trouble and Bass evolved.
Yeah, so the night came first, and then it went with like a whole, we were a DJ crew, and we played together, and then we started making records that sounded like drum and bass on 33 mixed with some acid house tune, you know, so that we could mix the tunes better, and nobody wanted to put it out.
So it was a bit like you made songs for your own DJ sets to kind of, like almost like a bridge between playing something slow.
Yeah. Like, you know, when you're making a mix and you're just going through tracks and
There's
nothing's
no
working,
transition.
there's no transition.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no problem. I'm gonna make one that works well to go between like an Alias record into some like, I don't know,
Some
DJ
Baltimore
Funk
house.
record or Baltimore, or like a DJ Techniques record, you know?
Yeah.
And then we would end up having like a Be More break with a bass line. It sounded like a UK sound.
So if we concentrate more on Drop the Lime as an artist, out of the Trouble and Bass camp and this sort of whole movement that you started to move more into like, kind of went back into your roots and like brought this rockabilly influence into your music and started a live show. How did that come about? Was that just an idea you had that you really wanted to force the two styles together, or was it more organic than that?
No, it just kind of formed organically. I was touring at the time for Bacardi B Live, and it was Major Lazer and DJ AM, and everybody was playing every kind of genre. You know, it was a real party. And I was really focused on doing this heavy bass sound, and I realized, man, if I'm playing at 9 p.m. at these nights, I can't play this stuff. I gotta branch out.
Yeah.
So what do I love? I love rockabilly. That's what I grew up on. So I started mixing the rockabilly with these heavy bass tunes. And then similar situation, it was like, why don't I make these edits? And then eventually it was like, man, maybe I want to put this out. Maybe I should start playing the guitar instead of sampling. And that led to, maybe I should get a drummer. Maybe I should get some backup singers. And next thing you know, I'm like touring around with a live band. And
It was like a full-on live experience. So you had like dancers and everything, but they had like routines. It wasn't just like people dancing around on stage, and they were also singers as well, if I'm not.
Yeah, they would also be backup singing.
Yeah.
As well. And we would do we did an Australian tour, we did a US tour. It was awesome. A lot of work though.
Yeah,
a lot of work.
It looked mad.
You know?
I think I saw it live 2 or 3 times, and
it was
seemed to
crazy.
be different every time because it really depended on the staging and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then I released a record, Enter the Night, which was that. It was what we played live, what we would do live, and that combination of mixing rockabilly and blues with electronic music.
Cool. So the main reason I actually wanted to speak to you while you were over here was about the new alias Curses. What is the direction that you're going in with Curses?
It's a deeper, darker, houseier techno direction. Sometimes you decide you need to embrace when someone tries to possess you.
So I understand from stuff I've heard you saying before that it was kind of born out of the like late nights, the sort of when the after party starts to get a little bit weird, people are like overstaying their welcome at parties, that kind of thing. Would you say that that's kind of a good reflection of where the sound was born out of?
It's definitely spawned from the magic of the after-hour experience, the mystery of the after-hours, and finding something new in that darkness.
So you've worked on the first release through Curses. Can you talk us through a little bit about that and the process of making that track, or the release?
The first release that's coming out end of June will be on a French label called Marble, and it's entitled So Good, and it combines an old 303 influence type of bass line with a Chicago house dark vibe in the song. And then we've also got a collaboration I've done with Para One and Sirkin and Can Blaster with myself on the vocals called Deep in the Night. A little bit more in the dark techno tip, getting lost again in the darkness.
So Curse's debut London show was actually at Scream's birthday at Forward at the dance tunnel, the first time the Forward's been at the dance tunnel. How was that for you?
Complete madness.
Did you
sweaty? Terrifyingly fantastic.
Did you kick off the night? Were you the first act?
I went on after Horse Meat Disco.
Oh, so you kind of went straight from disco into this like dark.
Straight from disco into this dark sound, but it got people dancing, and it felt good. It was definitely a good way to kick things off for my UK debut.
So what's next for Curses? What have you got lined up for the future?
There's going to be another tour. I'm coming back here in July, and I'll be doing a US tour, and then the next proper release will be coming out end of August.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think that just about wraps up our chat, Curses. Nice to meet you, firstly, and I think we should get a drink at the bar now before you have to head out.
Let's drink.
Thanks very much for passing through. Big up.